Hello and happy Saturday. Lately I have been getting into makeup brushes. It's kind of like a new hobby a bit, like reading about them, seeing reviews, looking at pictures, trying to find any videos I can find on YouTube, and then sometimes buying them and looking at them being like, whoa, so this is this material, this is that material, this is what like a shader brush means. So I'm definitely still learning. I don't know all the ins and outs, and I have bought a fair amount of brushes recently and received some as gifts. So if you want to see some of the new brushes I've got, not all have been tested. I don't have like a decisive opinion on everything quite yet, but if you just want to look at the brushes and kind of see what they look like and hear some initial thoughts, then feel free to watch on. Here are my Chikuhodo Z series brushes. These are all made of gray squirrel. They're very soft. This is the Z10 used for placing eyeshadow. I tend to use this to put kind of a fair amount of pigment in the outer corner of my eye, and then I kind of blend it out. So when I'm trying to add a bit more dimension to my eye look, that's when I use this, the Z10. This is the Z5, which is really good for putting a lot of shadow down at once. As you can see, it's kind of a larger, kind of like a paddle brush, and you can really just put a lot of color down at once. My one beef with these is that they don't have any type of numbering on them. They just say eyeshadow brush. There's no thing indicating Z10, Z5, so you kind of just have to either memorize it or reference a website. This is the Z4 cheek highlight brush. It can be used for either blush or highlight. Something you might be surprised by with these brushes, these like kind of fancy brushes, is how small the heads are at times. They're quite small, and I kind of get used to larger brushes with larger brush heads, and that's something that was a big adjustment for me, was seeing these tiny little brush heads here. These are my Wayne Goss eyeshadow brushes. I have honestly only used the number 19, and I use that for placing eyeshadow underneath my lower lash line. The one thing that really stands out to me about his brushes is that they are so small. I mean, they're very good for people with small eyelids, with small spaces that they're working with. So if you have kind of smaller eyes and you really want a detailed, tiny little itty bitty 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 brush, then you might be happy with his products. These are all made out of goat hair. And you'll see that I'm really enjoying Sonia G brushes. This is the Pro eyeshadow set with 5 brushes. They sold out pretty quickly. I think you gotta wait till January or February to have a chance of buying these again on beautylish.com. I have mostly enjoyed using the Blender Pro. I use that to blend everything, to blend my highlight with my transition shade, to blend crease colors, like when I put in something really kind of dark at the end of my eyelid and I want to blend it in. That's what I use, my Blender Pro. And also the Pencil Pro. I like the Pencil Pro for using under the eyelids or just blending eyeliner. I'm still kind of figuring these out and working with them, but so far to me, the standout multi-use one that you can just use for everything under the planet is the Blender Pro. I have some more Sonia G's. The top 2 are the ones I'm most familiar with, the Pencil one and Builder one. The Builder one is a flat kind of shader brush, very good at building up color and packing it on your lid. Much like the name says, you build or pack in your color, so that's great for that. The Pencil one is just another good pencil brush, good for smudging or applying deep color in the corners of your eyelids. The remaining 5 brushes Andy just got me for Christmas, so I have not tried them out yet, except for the Sculpt 3, which I used with some highlight from Pat McGrath. So my new ones to try out are the Crease 1, Worker 1, and Worker 2, which so the one on top, the Crease 1, is very pointy, and I think it will be good for placing color in the crease, as the name suggests. The Worker 1 kind of just looks like a paddle, like you could really just place color down with it. Perhaps the same for the Worker 2. There are different types of hairs. I think this is goat hair. This one might be dyed goat hair, but they're different types of hairs, as you can see, different colors. And then the face 2, I think I'll use it for maybe blush, perhaps highlight, I don't know about bronzer. I really like my big Tom Ford for bronzer. And then the Sculpt 3, which is a nice little kind of small fan brush, which is great for applying that highlight, which you can still see some colors of, my Pat McGrath highlighter right there. So I've got some goodies to play with. Now we're moving along to the Tom Ford makeup brushes, starting with the largest, the biggest, and baddest of all, number 05, the bronzer brush. It is ginormous. It is great at dispersing colors such as bronzer. That's what I tend to use it for, and I take a very, very light hand with bronzer and also with powder, like with my Charlotte Tilbury Flawless powder. So you probably can see a little bit of the powder on there. Next is the 06, the cheek brush. This is very, very dense, so beware of it. You cannot use this with a bright color, anything really like super bright or deep, because it will pick up all of that color. So I use this with light blushes like Tom Ford, I think it's called Lust or something like that. That's my favorite blush. That's the one I always use it with. And then I have some newer brushes here that I got at the outlets. They were 20% off retail plus an additional 40% off of that price at the cosmetic company outlet. So the ones that I bought there just this Christmas were the 02, the cream foundation brush, and the number 13, the eyeshadow blending brushes. So I got really amazing deals on this. This I bought a while ago at Nordstrom's. This is, I think they just call it an eyeshadow brush. Honestly, they have weird names, but at least they have the numbers at the bottom, number 11. And the blending brush, it does look like a very true blending brush with long, kind of tapered hairs. Honestly, I tend to shy away from natural fibers for liquids because I'm afraid they're going to pick up and absorb all that liquid. So I tend to do more synthetics or like a beauty blender for liquids, but I'm going to give it a go. I got an amazing price and I'm excited to try it. And these are all the natural hair Tom Fords. They recently transitioned to synthetic. So that's why I was so excited to get these two brushes at a great price with the natural hair. Now for the creme de la creme, the top line brushes that I currently own and that I love so much, my Surratt Beauty brushes. I have 3 of them. I have the highlight brush, the cheek brush, and the face brush. They come in these beautiful little boxes with lids that slide off, and I keep them in their boxes because they're so special. The highlight brush has a kind of teardrop shape to it. You can probably still see some highlighting products on there. This is nice for just applying your highlighter right along your cheekbone and kind of right above your blush there. This has become my new favorite blush brush. I use it every day. It is so soft, but picks up product like you wouldn't believe, and then applies it and it blends it so nicely on your face. So I love my Surratt Beauty cheek brush, and it's just an everyday tool for me now. And the face brush, oops, there we go. It has a large head there, large brush head, that same really, really pretty sparkly handle with that kind of purple and green color and Surratt on there. This one I use basically just for face powder, for setting my foundation when I'm done putting on my makeup. And this brush, you will not believe the price I got it for. This normally retails for a whopping $230, which is insane. Sephora had all their brushes 50% off for a very brief moment in time. All Surratt Beauty was 50% off. I got the price marked down to $115. I then applied a $100 Rouge reward where you turn in points and get a $100 like code. I then paid $15 plus tax, which was around $16 total out of pocket for this amazing brush. So that's the deal of a lifetime. I don't think I'll ever get so lucky, but that's why I own this brush, because I only paid $16 for it. So these are all made out of squirrel hair. I believe it's either blue or gray squirrel, which I understand can be kind of interchangeable. I'm still trying to understand the differences between all the different types of squirrel hairs, like Canadian and is it Kazumi or something like that, and then the gray and blue squirrel hairs. But these are the softest brushes I own, and they also work very well, and they actually do pick up product and apply it on you. You can see that
the highlight coming off there. But so soft, picks up product, applies it beautifully and blends it. These are the best brushes that I currently own.